Hey guys, welcome back. We're on day 11. This video is actually going to be shot over the next couple days or so because there's not that much stuff to do before I get my parts in. It is the 4th of July today, Saturday, so happy 4th to everybody. If you're out of the country and you don't know about it, well, today's our Independence Day. So what that means for the project is no shipping, no mail. All my parts are being delivered Monday and Tuesday. Half of them are sitting in my local post office right now, and I would have had them today if it wasn't a holiday weekend. But, oh well. The one good thing about it being the 4th of July is my local Harbor Freight has a 25% off one item coupon today. So I'm actually going to run down there right now and get myself a set of really long feeler gauges, because I would like to have a set dedicated to doing valve adjustments, because what I want to do is bend them up to fit them in, and I can use them for both bikes, and I don't want to ruin the one good set I have that I use for general stuff. But doing the valve adjustments, you really need to get it into some tight spaces, and it does make it a lot easier to bend them up to fit the vehicle you're working on. So that way I won't care. I'll just have one dedicated set. Plus the extra length makes it really handy to slip that feeler gauge in when you're working, like on my FJR, into the inner two cylinders. And I would imagine this one's going to be a little snug too, just to get around the frame members and stuff like that. So won't be that expensive, especially with a 25% off coupon. I'm going to go run up right after I do this clip and get those, and then we'll just get working on some stuff. Let's see what I got left. Got my spiffy new blue wall tires. Yeah, buddy, it's a new thing. I think that's looking awesome on a red bike. Blue tires, yeah. Nah, just kidding. It's shipping protection. They're nice white walls. I'm just keeping them wrapped up till Tuesday when the rest of the wheel bearings come in, and I'll go have these guys mounted. Just keeping them nice. You can see the blue peeling off there. Those should look nice and fresh and give it that vintage look, you know. They are stock size. I didn't go with the extra fat actual vintage tires, which I could have done because the fender set I'm getting from Blue Collar Bobbers will accommodate the oversized vintage tires if I wanted the real big donut look. But these are big enough, you know, stock size, where it's going to look just awesome. Didn't really inspect the tread pattern too much. Nice thick modern grooving. Alright, cool. So let's see, after I get back from the store, what do we got left? Well, I got a few spots to get with degreaser. Stuff that I didn't see once I took the floorboards off. You know, there's a whole bunch of gunk in here. That is chrome, believe it or not, even though it looks black. It's the same as this here. So that's how dirty the whole bike is. So I'll spritz in here. I'll get underneath. I'll probably do the oil change since it's right here. Well, you know what? I got to check and see where that drain bolt is. It might be blocked by the frame. So, you know, that's no rush. It's actually pretty fresh oil in there, but I have a whole kit for it. Filter is coming Monday. No, I already got the filter. Something else is coming Monday. Anyway, the floorboards came out great. I was going to put them on last night, but they were still tacky after 8 hours of drying. That's how humid it is out here. So the only part you're going to see is this lip here. The rubber bolts on the top here, so you're just going to see this top edge. So obviously that all looks great, and then this outer edge here, that's all you see. So it's got that nice black gloss hammered finish. Absolutely love it. Super easy to do. Yeah, that's nice and dry now, nice and hard. Yesterday it was still kind of like rubber, believe it or not. So we'll get those back on, clean up the springs, lube the pins there. They got some corrosion on them. Clean all the mounting surfaces up here. I'll get in here, lube the brake levers and the shift levers. I'll clean and lube the side stand mechanism. What else? I've got a new fuel hose. That's coming Monday. I'm going to wipe everything down, get it all clean here, and do the valve adjustment. I got to pop the old bearings off the triple tree. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. And I can put the new steering bearings on. I have those now. Other than that, I think I need to wait on everything. Oh, get this. Looking at this swing arm, going through the book, half of this is fake, as in heavy steel for cosmetics. All of this here is fake. I can unbolt all of this. The only member that supports this left side is this here. Comes down and connects right here to where the drive shaft comes in. All of this I can remove. And it looks like it's only 5 bolts. 1 here, 2 here, and 2 in there. And this whole thing should come off. Kind of stupid to add that weight for absolutely nothing. I mean, it's just aesthetics. I understand they did it to kind of balance out the bike, but I'd rather have the weight savings. I think it'll look cooler seeing the whole pumpkin here and not seeing this, lattice design. Of course, this was covered by the saddlebags on the bike when I got it, and the fender was pretty big too. Still, that's an easy mod to me, man. And I imagine this bolt will just run back in and sit there. It's got a little rubber. No, is it rubber? Nope. Kind of hard to tell. It's either rubber or gunk. I think it's gunk. Yuck, that's how thick it is. So what else? Well, other than that, I think it'll be all caught up, just waiting for the parts. So I'm going to run off to the store, and then we'll get going and do what I want to do today, the rest tomorrow, and then we'll be in assembly mode officially. Oh yeah, one other thing. The more I think about this HID light being completely open and not having the little shield inside like the stock halogen, I know the pattern, beyond a shadow of a doubt. I know the pattern is going to suck, and I know it's going to dazzle oncoming traffic. So I do want to take care of that. There is a $40 projection housing online that looks like it would be a very good fit for my application. It's actually pretty cool. It's designed to work with these cheap open HID lights, and it's also designed to work with your stock housing. So it's an intermediate adapter. This plugs into the projector housing, and then the projector housing plugs in where the light bulb would to your original housing. So basically, it would be a projector housing inside this glass. The reflector wouldn't be used at all, so you'd hardly see it, and it's silver and chrome, so it's just a round projector in the center here of the light, and then this is inside it. So that's $40. But what I'm going to do, just in case I don't need to spend the $40, I made out of simply aluminum foil a little reflector. This is basically mimicking this silver dish part here in the stock halogen light, and all this is doing is preventing light from coming to the lower half of the light spread. So what I'm going to do, after I figure out exactly where the up and down is when this is mounted, is wrap that right around the base here, put a little zip tie around the end. One end is straighter than the other, can't remember which. There we go. And boom, there's my reflector. I don't know how well this is going to work. I'll see as soon as I turn it on and examine the beam pattern, but it won't go anywhere. Once I put a zip tie around this, that aluminum foil it weighs nothing. It's not going to vibrate, it's not going to move, and it's not going to get hot. So you can see it's just the right size, so where it's going to cut off halfway, just like that stock bulb reflector. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'll spend $40, get that projector, and call it good. But I know I'm not going to stick this in the lamp bare. I just, the more I thought about it, like I said, ain't going to work. So as soon as the bike is assembled and I can take it on the road and actually look at the pattern, we'll see if that cheap aluminum foil works. Well, strike out at Harbor Freight to go up there, and they closed early. Coupon was only good today, and they closed early. Big sign in the window. Anyway, AutoZone was open. I got this set pre-bent. This is exactly what I wanted. $8, not a bad deal. Got another can of brake opener. Got some 4th of July libations. Let's get started. Got quite a bit of pitting and just surface gunk all over this chrome piece here. I'm going to hit it a couple more times with the degreaser because it's better. It's wiping off to some degree, but there is a bunch of just surface imperfection. So it might take some polishing by hand. Just seeing if I can get the surface even to shine, and I can't, so no big deal. Just get off all the loose stuff with the degreaser and polish the rest. Call it good. You can only see it if you look down there, but while I'm here, story of the project. While you're in there, you may as well do blank. Good enough for now. Up top, I'm not letting this degreaser really go anywhere. Just hitting parts that I'm actually cleaning at the second. I don't want this stuff ending up places it shouldn't. You got your throttle body linkages in here and delicate wiring. This is all underneath the tank, so it's not designed to be weatherproof. Kind of like if you're doing your car and you're washing around the alternator and your wiring harnesses and all that kind of stuff. Just be smart about it. And there we go. That already looks 10 times better. Look at all the crap. Just from a quick wipe. Doesn't take much to make a big difference. Alright, now I'm going to rinse that off. Again, you don't want this drying on the bike. So I just dipped the cloth in water here and giving it a quick surface rinse. Just let that air dry. It's not soaked. That'll do. I'm going to be taking these, I don't know what you call them, engine top covers. They're not valve cover gaskets. I'll be taking these off, so I'll get those nice and clean when they come off. And let's see, I guess I can do the steering bearings now since I'm right here. Need to clean this out one last time with brake cleaner. Okay, to get this bearing off the shaft here, it's only an interference fit at the very, very, very bottom where it's actually on. I just need to get it started loose and it'll slide right up. I've got a little chisel here. I'm doing it on just kind of leaned against the frame here because I really don't feel like disassembling this whole thing just to get the brake line out, and I don't feel like taking the banjo fitting out and draining the brake system and having to refill it and go through that again. Hindsight 2020, I should have done the brake flush last, but oh well. So this should be just fine. I'm just going to get in here. Should just take a couple quick wraps with a hammer. Let me take everything off that I can first. Take off the balls. So what we have is the inner race, this metal part. There's a seal and then an inner race. And let's try to get this secure here. So I can give it a couple wraps. I'm going to clean up, squeaky, clean up all these fork pieces after I'm done here. There we go. It's nice and secure. Get all this out of the way. Shouldn't be a big deal. That's the theory anyway. That'll cut through the seal. Just doesn't want to budge it. All right, you know what? Let me hit up YouTube. See if I can find some advice on pulling this off. Maybe it needs some heat or something. Maybe there's another tool. Not sure. Let me check into it. So it's after midnight now. I couldn't do much work on the bike today because it's 4th of July and Chloe is deathly afraid of fireworks, and it's like 12:30 in the morning. They just finally died down. They've been going since 6 o'clock. Freaking Redneckville, man. Anyway, got, as you can see, the bearing off. Minimal damage to the triple tree and the shaft. Nothing on critical mating surfaces. Just a little bit of sanding will take care of it. Basically, I had to cut it off. That was a complete bitch. There's a special tool out there for pulling it. I don't even think that would have worked because there was no lip on this bearing at all. It was a completely flat seal. There's no lip on the top, so you can't even get underneath it and hammer it up. Just a horrible, horrible design. Nothing to catch. Completely smooth and insanely tight. So I used the cutoff wheel on the Dremel, and I got as close as I could. Obviously, I didn't want to cut into the shaft or the triple tree. I ended up nicking the triple tree on the edge. Just on the edge, though, it's still a very good seal surface. And I didn't even cut all the way through it because it's a curved cutting wheel, so you can't get in a 90-degree corner. I hacked some bits off the side because the Dremel wasn't cutting it, literally. It was overheating and just not going through this hardened steel very well. So I just ended up taking little chunks, making 90-degree cuts, and like chopping away a tree basically. And what I think finally did it was the heat, just expanding this from the cutting. And then what I was doing is slowly then trying to get under it with my chisel, and it would finally start to move up a little bit, and then it would cool off and lock again. So I'd keep cutting, and as it raised up, I could get the wheel in a little deeper because I could have more clearance before I hit the triple tree. And finally, after about 45 minutes of this procedure, it came loose and went ping, and it rattled. And oh man, was I glad to see that pop. What a pain in the ass. I never want to do this again. This is not fun. Everything else about this project is fun. This is just freaking work. Ugh. Anyway, now we get to put the new bearing and seal on, and I might leave that until tomorrow because I'm absolutely soaked in sweat again. And I want some more light. I've got some extra lights on me now, but still, I've got hard shadows. I like sunlight when I'm working with stuff like this so I can really see what I'm doing, and I want to make sure everything's good and clean. So that is going to wrap up day, what do you want, 11? Stay tuned for day 12, which should be the final day before assembly. And I'm excited. Thanks for watching, guys. Question of the day. Have you ever wanted a completely custom paint job for your bike? I don't mean what I'm doing. I don't consider a repaint custom paint, even though it's not factory. I mean custom paint like airbrushing, some kind of club design, something you came up with, something absolutely one-off. That's what I consider custom, is something one-off. You ever had the urge to do that? I've seen some pretty cool bikes. I just can't think of anything that I'm really behind that I would want to invest that kind of money. I mean, you're talking a couple grand into the paint alone to do something like that. I thought of, maybe cigars, for those of you that know me from Cigar Obsession, but I don't want to ride around a cigar bike, I'm not a cigar company. And I thought actually about the TwoWheelObsession logo. I don't know what happens when I sell the bike, and then some guy's stuck with my logo. I might do a decal or something like that, but I don't know. I'm not even into personalizing my stuff that much. That's the primary reason I don't have any tattoos. I've seen some awesome tattoos, but I don't know. There's just nothing that I would want all the time. And I'm kind of the same way with my bike, at least right now. Who knows? I might discover something later on. I'm like, oh my God, that would be an awesome theme for bike. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. We'll see you tomorrow or whenever for the next installment. See you.